38 minutes passed. The Air Traffic Control Center could still clearly see MH370 on the secondary radar. But as the plane entered the airspace boundary between Malaysia and Vietnam, the Air Traffic Control Center sent a message to MH370 to prepare to contact Vietnam. The contact at 1 hour 21 minutes and 4 seconds. The Malaysian side observed MH370 flying past the point. Bakery, but 9 seconds later, the secondary radar screen suddenly went completely black. At this time, the plane was still within the range of the secondary radar. So, why did the radar fail to detect it? Actually, secondary radar differs from primary radar in that secondary radar mainly relies on signals emitted by the plane's transponder. But this transponder system can be tampered with or manually turned off by someone. If those who analyze the time the device was turned off are correct, they clearly know these matters very well. Because at that time, the plane was outside the range of all primary radars, and turning off the transponder signal sent to the secondary radar also meant making the plane invisible. Actually, secondary radar coverage only reaches 10% of the Earth's surface. If the transponder is turned off, then 90% of the Earth's areas become blind spots. This is why MH370's trace suddenly could not be detected. While everyone was searching over the South China Sea, an investigation team from your side concluded that the plane could not have crashed in the South China Sea, because after disappearing from radar, the plane did not crash, but flew for nearly 7 more hours. What is the whole story? It turns out the plane was equipped with a maritime communication system device. IMSO provided satellite communication services for MH370. What is this system for? Normally, 1 hour after the communication system receives no signal, the ground station sends a signal asking if the plane is still there. If the plane is operating normally, it will automatically respond. This type of information system is called a ping. Fortunately, this cannot be turned off manually. After accessing the data, IMSO detected when the plane disappeared, the ground-based station still made contact with MH370 7 times, each about an hour apart. This also means, after disappearing, the plane was still operating normally for at least 7 hours. How far could it fly in those 7 hours? It's the giant red area here. But the sea communication system has no positioning capability. So, the plane's location still can't be found. But it definitely isn't in the South China Sea, or the Indian Ocean, or the Pacific Ocean. So, where exactly was it during that time? They began studying satellite 3F1 connected to MH370. The satellite's position is very clear. By timing each communication exchange, they calculated the distance between the plane and the satellite. This gave 7 circles. The plane could have been at any point on each of these 7 circles during contact, meaning MH370 definitely passed through 7 points on these circles. The outer circle contact was at 8:19 a.m. 57 minutes later. The plane no longer responded to the satellite signal, according to the hypothesis. Unless the plane crashed and broke apart, it should have responded. Using the plane's fuel data, it's possible to estimate the last known location of the plane. It could only be near the right half of the arc because the plane didn't fly to the left. But now there is a problem. Whether the plane was on the upper half or the lower half of the arc at that time. Malaysia released a shocking piece of information. Military radars of Malaysia and India detected. After disappearing at the initial flight point, MH370 turned sharply westward, flew straight over the Malaysian peninsula, then turned direction again, flying northwest. The last signal detected within the military radar range was at the Andaman Islands at 2:22 a.m. Considering MH370's flight path, there is clearly human intervention. There are only 2 possibilities. One is hijacking. The other is crew involvement. We will discuss the details shortly. Now technicians must determine if MH370 flew north or south throughout the flight. Finally, they recalled the satellite that contacted MH370, which was never completely stationary in the sky, but moved continuously along its orbit, shifting up and down between north and south directions. If so, the exact satellite position when sending signals constantly changed, and the plane's position also kept changing.